case you are just joining us, we are in the program Ulim here on Crop and Animal Farming Podcast. And in our program today, we have a unique case who is Mr. Piri, a tomato farmer. He's telling us more about tomato farming. What is tomato farming? How it is handled. So, welcome back, Mr. Piri.
Thank you very much.
Let me also welcome you back, dear listeners, wherever you are, to the program. Before we went to break, Mr. Piri, I asked you two questions. The first question was saying, how do you handle a large piece of land of tomato that you have? How do you handle it? And on the same note, I also asked you on what are some of the challenges that you encounter in the process of handling your tomato field.
All right. I think we can start with the first question.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can ask one after another.
Okay.
Yes.
I said in the first place, I said, how do you handle your garden? I understand you have a very big piece of land whereby you plant your tomatoes. So how do you take good care of it? How do you care about it? Do you have people who help? Who helps you?
I employed some of the men.
Okay.
Whereby they try those men, they try their best to help me on how to handle this big space of or big garden of tomato.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look that I help the Malawi government in creating job opportunities.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yes. So I indeed employed some men whereby they help me in handling this large piece of land of tomato.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sure.
Do you think that the way your garden is it equivalent to the kind of workers that we employed, or the workers are small in number, or the garden is big, or the garden is small, the workers are much?
Yeah, they are much indeed.
Okay.
Sure.
So I asked again, say, in the process of handling your garden, you're saying you have some guys, some young men who works on your behalf. So I said, what are some of the challenges that you face in the process of handling your bigger tomato field?
Right. One of the challenges, the big challenge which I face is there are some other boys which I employed. They used to steal my tomato.
Mm-hmm.
So they try their best to steal my tomato and sold it somewhere.
Mm.
So as a result, in other ways, they make me to be or to find or to gain not more profits from this family.
Mm-hmm.
That's because they try their best to steal at least more tomatoes.
Mm.
And they make me to gain not enough profits from my tomatoes.
In short, you are saying some of your workers are thieves.
Yes, I think.
They steal your tomatoes.
Exactly, they steal my tomatoes.
So how do you handle such scenarios, a situation? I think you have, at one point in time, maybe managed to capture them. How did you handle such a scenario?
Right. If I found one of them who stole my tomato, I used to send him away from my work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I used to
miss them.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And I try myself to employ some other men.
The replacement is done immediately.
Immediately, so that they can indeed proceed or they can help me in my work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How do you market your tomatoes?
There are some companies,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a very, very famous person
Mm-hmm.
in the country.
Okay.
So there are some companies who used to come to buy my tomato, whereby they used it in different ways, in making tomato sauce. And so there are many companies, as well as some other individuals. They used to come and buy my tomato in order to use it as supplement to the rest. Yes, so that's how most of the times I market my tomato.
Do you get satisfied with the prices of tomato that you put? Because tomato is one of the crops whereby it is a go bad.
Yes.
So how do you get satisfied with the prices that you give to your tomatoes, or are the prices of tomato stable?
No, the prices of tomato are not stable.
Okay.
Sometimes the prices can even go down due to maybe there is a certain season whereby there are a lot of people who plant or who grows tomato.
Yeah, sure.
As a result, when the demand is high, most of the time the supply is low. When the supply is low, the demand is what? High. So most of the times this affects our marketing of the tomato. So sometimes I'm satisfied with that, but sometimes not satisfied.
Sometimes you are satisfied, sometimes you are not satisfied.
Yes.
How do you take care of your tomatoes after you have known that my tomato has ripened? You have harvested, but by the way, how do you harvest a tomato?
Most of the times we harvest tomato by using what we call hand picking.
Okay.
Yes, we just pick our tomato from our field, then put it in our baskets or in our bags, whereby we carry it to our homes or to my home. Yes.
So you use hand picking method.
Yes, I use the hand picking method.
So after you have harvested tomato, after you have found the markets and you are satisfied with what, my question was, after you have harvested it, how do you take care of it? Because tomato is a go bad. Tomato is something which is a kind of crop which needs to be handled with much care.
Yes.
How do you take care of your tomatoes before marketing it? After you have just harvested it, you have taken it to your home, what? How do you take care of it?
Most of the times, ripened tomato needs a cold press. Yes, so I used to put my tomato at a very cold press. Because we do that just because to make it or to keep it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yes, so most of the times, in order for the for our tomato not to get roast, we used to keep it in a very cold press.
When
we can even put it in the fridge. Yes, so that it cannot be destroyed.
When we were starting our program, I asked you a question to say, you get much profits from tomato, and you said yes.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some people who have just joined us and haven't had the benefits that one gets from tomatoes. What are some of the things that you can assure somebody who is out there, that particular person sometimes has wants to involve him or herself in tomato farming, but he sometimes ignore it? How can you convince somebody to venture into tomato farming? Maybe you can convince that person through the evidences or through the living testimonies that you can give out as what happens or what is happening to you.
Right, as I have already said, nowadays I have got a big house. I have a big house which I built from the money coming from this farming of tomato. In addition to that, I also said that I have my own crop there, whereby I have a lot of cattle there, whereby I use the money which I got from this farming, tomato farming, to buy those cattle. Nowadays, I have got a lot of things. Even look in my house, I have a lot of things right here.
So how can you encourage a certain farmer out there to involve himself with tomato farming?
Some farmers, they fail to involve themselves in tomato farming just because they fear that tomato farming has got no any profit. But I can convince them by saying, indeed, in tomato there are a lot of profits which we gain. What is needed is to be a hard worker. Yes, to be a hard worker. As a result, you also gain much profit. The way you grow your tomato, that's the way you can produce. Yes, so that's what I can say.
As we are going to the conclusion of our program, what can be your final remarks from whatsoever? We have discussed a lot of things in the program, but what can be your final remarks? Where is your emphasis on tomato farming?
My final remarks is that tomato farming is very one of the important farming which is helping our country. Okay. So in many ways, in terms of look at tomato sauce, look at the supplement of relish. We use tomato as well as a supplement of relish. Without tomato, I think in many areas, Malawi cannot go well. Cannot go forward in many areas. Tomato is very important. So I can encourage, I urge everyone, every Malawian, that indeed in tomato farming there are a lot of profits which we gain from there. Yes, boss.
Let me thank you, Mr. P, so much for coming into the program.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate people have understood out there whatsoever you have spoken on tomato farming. I hope some people have been inspired with what you have said, and they are now planning of joining this particular kind of farming.
Yeah.
Dear listeners, wherever you are, this marks the end of our program today. In our program, we had a guest, Mr. P, who is a tomato farmer. He has told us a lot of things about tomato farming. I hope you have been inspired, and some of you, our discussion has caused you to think of joining in this particular type of farming. Until next time, I've been your host, Joshua Makatan, wishing you all the best.